of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Mayor Pro Tem Omar Quintanilla. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we pause to give you thanks for the blessings you provided our community. We thank you for sustaining us and leading us in the right direction. This week, as Passover is being celebrated, and as we as Christians celebrate Easter, we are ever mindful of your sacrifice and love for us. I pray especially that you would bless our city, staff, and residents, that you would give us wisdom to conduct today's meeting, that we would make the best decisions. It's in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
And we have a presentation, first robotic competition, Rogue Rangers Legacy Team.
Hello, City of McAllen, Texas. My name is Simon Rivera. I'm the head coach of the Rogue Rangers Legacy team that you see behind me. We participate in First Robotics Competition, which is a worldwide organization, and we compete locally here. And then we moved on to at the state level in Houston, Texas at the George Brown Convention Center about a week and a half ago. And the students that you see behind me, they're range from 9th through 12th grade. They represent the city of McAllen because we're housed here at the Elks Lodge. And they competed at the competition, and they moved on from the Victoria District event, and they won the Victoria District Impact Award, which is the highest award that's given to a team that demonstrates and embodies everything that FIRST is about, FIRST Robotics. And when they moved on to the state level, we were competing in top 90 teams in the state. And this team also went ahead and also won the Impact Award at the state level. So we are one of two state championship teams, one of 28 teams that are moving on to the World Championship. The World Championship is this Wednesday, and it runs from Wednesday through Saturday, and we're competing against over 600 teams worldwide. So I humbly thank you all for the support. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for recognizing these students and all their hard work. And thank you so much, Mayor. Sure. Thank you, everybody on the board. I don't know if anybody else wants to say something. I don't like talking a lot.
We just want to say thank you because the city of McAllen was good to us to be able to take these kids. This program is offered for free for the students since this level of robotics is not offered in their schools. So we opened it up to the community to if any student was willing to be part of the robotics team. Everything is done through grants and donations. So again, thank you to the mayor, thank you to the city, because without you, our students would not be able to have a chance like this. So again, thank you for all the support, and I really want to commend these kids for going. They have to do a presentation. They have to build a robot without a manual. They just tell them, this is what you're going to do, build something. So they do about a 125-pound robot. And they work in the community as well, providing free robotics camps for students and making sure that they spread the word of STEM throughout the community. So great job to all our kids, and we're very honored and happy to be here today. So thank you.
And I'm glad that the city could help out a little bit, and my understanding is that you all are going somewhere, so I think we can help out a little bit more. All right.
Okay, the next proclamation. National Community Development Week with Julia Lash. And we have Commissioner Rudy Castillo giving the proclamation.
Hello, everyone. City of McAllen proclamation. State of Texas, County of Hidalgo, City of McAllen. Whereas the week of April 21st through 25th has been designated as National Community Development Week by the National Community Development Association to recognize the importance of community development in fostering a vibrant, exclusive, and resilient neighborhoods. And whereas the City of McAllen has received federal funds to assist with the revitalization of several city neighborhoods, the rehabilitation or construction of hundreds of homes, and public services and economic opportunities reaching thousands of residents. And whereas the City of McAllen has effectively administered and customized its grants, administration, and community development programs for over 50 years, as a result has improved the conditions in our city, including the management of over $80 million in funding for the community development programs through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And whereas the Grant Administration Department remains committed to leveraging federal resources through multiple programs under the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to implement innovative projects, promote equitable development, and build a more prosperous future for all McAllen residents. Now, therefore, I, Rodolfo Rudy Castillo, City Commissioner of the City of McAllen, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of the Mayor and City Commission, do hereby proclaim the week of April 21st to the 25th, 2025 as National Community Development Week.
Thank you, Commissioner. So National Community Development Week marks the annual opportunity to celebrate the impact and the long-standing accomplishments of the federally funded Community Development Block Grant, the Home Investment Partnership, and the Emergency Solutions Grants programs. For over 50 years, these programs have been an important resource for the communities to provide programs and activities to address infrastructure, affordable housing, and community and economic development needs. In addition, our community development programs have long been considered the most successful federally supported local program ever approved by Congress. The City of McAllen has greatly benefited from these federal programs and will continue to act as robust stewards of these services for the well-being of our community. And a special thanks to all our grant administration staff for all their hard work, and as well as our Community Development Advisory Board members present here today. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Mayor's Monarch Pledge, Sebi Haddad, Commissioner Haddad.
Hi. How y'all doing? Hey, how you doing? City of McAllen proclamation. Whereas monarchs have an incredible story to tell, teaching kids and adults alike about the importance of conservation. To encourage the people of the City of McAllen to have fun while learning about the longest migration of any insect, Quinta Mazatlan is hosting Monarch Fest, sponsored by HEB Helping Here, on April 26, 2025, featuring fun and educational programs and activities for families. We are celebrating our partnership with the National Wildlife Federation, as McAllen has committed to be a conservation leader 5 years in a row. By designing our landscapes to support butterflies and birds, we will also attract valuable ecotourists to our region. Our native plants should be considered not only for their intrinsic beauty and value, but because they are essential components of a healthy ecosystem. On behalf of the people of McAllen who have already joined me in creating healthy gardens for these magnificent butterflies, I am proud to lead the way by signing the National Wildlife Federation's Mayor's Monarch Pledge. I, Sebi Haddad, City Commissioner of the City of McAllen, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of the Mayor and City Commission, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2025 as Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day. Colleen?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. Mayors who sign for the Mayor's Monarch Pledge agree to implement numerous actions set by the National Wildlife Federation that benefit monarchs and people. It includes educating public about monarch butterflies and pollinators through the many programs we offer here at Quinta Mazatlan. communicating the importance of this butterfly, not only to beauty, but also to ecosystem services, by planting native plants throughout the city, thanks to support from McAllen Parks and Recreation, Keep McAllen Beautiful, and other partners. So, for example, we've installed 6 tiny forests over the past 2 to 3 years here in the city of McAllen, thanks to donors and the Friends of Quinta Mazatlan, and they feature hundreds of plants that are beneficial for monarchs and other butterflies. Growing and hosting native plant sales. And lastly, as the Commissioner mentioned, hosting a Monarch Festival that will be coming up on this, not this Saturday, next Saturday, April 26th at Quinta Mazatlan from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It features off-site parking and a free shuttle service to the event. Hope y'all will come by, and there's lots of educational booths, native plant sales, activities for the whole family. So hope to see y'all there, and thanks to HEB for sponsoring the event. Thank you.
Next, we have public hearings.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor. The first, we have 2 items on routine. The first one is the rezoning from a single-family old code to a new code R1. It is located at 5517 North Benson Road. It was presented at P&Z with no opposition and a board-approved approval. The second one is a conditional use permit for residential use in a commercial zone. It was at 415 South Bicentennial and was recommended by P&Z as approval.
Do we have anybody to speak against any of these items? Yes, sir.
Members down here for the rezoning against planning development.
Oh, okay.
To speak against the item?
Oh, no, I'm here.
No, anybody to speak against the item?
I am reclusing from the first one. First item.
Okay, nobody here to speak against
Make a
any of
motion
the
to
items.
approve of that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
The item B1 is rezoning for tract of land, 2 parcels. It is requested to zone from our old code R1 to the new code R3. The only issue with this one, it's located at 1021 East Augusta and 1009 East Augusta. So this residential street only has a 26-foot of right-of-way. The customer would like to rezone the property to add duplexes on her current lots. However, the street is too narrow for that. At the Planning and Zoning Commission, March 18th, there was opposition in regards to the traffic for East Augusta, and the vote voted to disapprove the item.
Anybody here to speak against the item? Yes, sir.
Buenas tardes a todos, disculpen, no sé hablar inglés.
Si puede acercarse al micrófono, por favor.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Buenas tardes.
Muchas gracias por permitirnos estar por acá. Mi nombre es Carlos Fernández, vengo en representación de la subdivisión Las Viñas a entregar este formato con las firmas donde estamos los vecinos preocupados por esta notificación. ¿Lo puedo entregar aquí?
¿Cómo?
¿Lo puedo entregar acá?
Sí, por favor, gracias. Okay, so P&Z came with against.
I guess a majority to
And then
disapprove.
what's the issue with the right-of-way or the?
So the main thing was an older street, older subdivision, so it wasn't really a street. So eventually, just the city went in there and created the street, and it was only 26 feet of right-of-way. So it has 26 feet of paving.
Oh, I see.
Okay. What are the wishes of the commission?
It was voted against
Correct.
at the planning.
Gracias.
Sir.
Was the applicant?
From
Any
a
other
planning
questions?
standpoint, is it primarily the size of the tract that?
So it's
is
mainly
very
for
restricted?
residential use. So it's just it doesn't really have the adequate space for commercial property for apartment complexes. So yes, they were going to propose to do duplexes, but it's just the lots are single family. It is abutting to a new irrigation detention pond on the north side, and it's surrounded by R1. Majority, I guess the property to the south is R3T. However, they do have, it's a proposal. They haven't completed the subdivision process, but when they did submit that process, they did have a larger 60/40 right-of-way for that street that was going to be to the south of it.
Okay, do we have the applicant? No?
I make a motion to disapprove the relief requested for rezoning by the applicant.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is requested for McAllen and Hunt on behalf of the developer for amendment to the PUD at 4900 North Ware Road, known as Villas at Ware. The original PUD was approved and for various variances. It had a 10-foot front yard setback, a 3-foot side yard setbacks. They had requested a 6-foot cedar fence instead of the 8-foot CMU wall, and that got disapproved. And then they also got 6 lots don't meet the lot frontage requirements, so they're at 18 feet. So the new request is, instead of requesting the 6 feet, they're requesting to do an 8-foot cedar fence instead of the 8-foot CMU wall. The only issue with that is it did get numerous variances, and the 8-foot CMU wall will act as a noise barrier, a site obstruction, and it's not considered a firewall, but it is a fire barrier. So when you do have this higher density use, that gives the fire department a little more adequate time to get there. They have received multiple variances. So at the Planning and Zoning Commission of April the 1st, the board unanimously voted to disapprove it. We did note on here that there was no one in opposition, but there was a lady there that was in opposition, but she was just confused at which case she was there for, so she wasn't able to speak. But the P&Z board did vote to disapprove it.
Okay, anybody here to speak against the item? Yes.
She didn't have a chance to speak at the P&Z meeting.
Okay.
Come forward, ma'am. Just give us your name for the
Okay,
record.
my name is Maria de Jesus Gonzalez. I live in 4801 North 33rd Street, Los Banderas subdivision. I'm going to speak Spanish because
Sure,
it's
absolutely.
better for me to
No problema.
not be confused about it. Last time I came over to talk about it because we do have a problem with the water system there. The alley, we have the, it's like this time that it was, cuando se llenó allí de agua bastante, el parque estaba hundido. La situación ahí, por ese callejón, para nosotros se llena de agua cada vez que llueve. Llueve poquito, llueve mucho, porque los drenajes están muy chiquitos para convertir eso de una manera. Se viene toda el agua de la Ware Road, eso nos ha pasado anteriormente en el pasado. Se viene todo el agua de la Ware Road hasta ese callejón. Como le digo, nomás tenemos 2 entradas, que se pueden salir el agua, en dos cosas nada más, es todo. So, en el 2010, mi carro se hundió en ese alley y no había ninguna casas, muchas casas alrededor, y como quiera se llenó ese lugar. Esta vez que pasó el agua, igualmente pasó lo mismo. So, para nosotros tener un apartamento atrás de esa alley es muy peligroso, porque toda esa agua, aparte de los apartamentos que van a poner ahí, aparte de eso, se va a llenar todavía más. Para nosotros es bien difícil especialmente cuando sacamos los carros en la mañana.
Okay.
Okay,
Anybody
por
here
eso
to
estoy
speak?
en contra.
Do we have the applicants?
Good afternoon, members of the commission. Mario Reina with Meldon Hunt for the record. I'm here on behalf of Roads Development. To her point, this has a long history dating back to 2020. At the time we came to rezone it, we had a number of residents that had concerns, and we had a community meeting with them at the park. This was approved to do apartments at one point, but we did change it in 2023. So what you have before you now is a single-family residential development. This is exactly like the Villas at Freddie. We're using the exact same floor plans. The average floor plans will range from 1,800 to 2,700 square feet. If you look at the surrounding areas on the north side, the The average home is 1,600 square feet, on the south side about 2,400 square feet. I know Omar mentioned some variances that we got on the setback, but what you have in front of you here actually shows that we are 10 feet apart on the sides. So this is basically a typical residential development. It's not apartments. We are accommodating our drainage. We did run everything through engineering.
So what you're saying is that initially when the block fence was required, it was because there was apartments being planned, but now that it's single family, you're asking for a variance to switch it to an 8-foot cedar.
That's
Is
correct.
that okay?
Excuse me. He's also against that. He's my husband, and
Okay.
he can explain to you better than me.
Well,
about
I
the
think we
situation.
understand the issues in the water, but generally, if any development happens, there will be sufficient things to take care of the water issues, but we're a little concerned more on the other stuff. But we understand your point. We do.
So something is gonna be done about it, they're directing the water towards the, Las Banderas. That's my concern.
As part of the subdivision process, they will have to detain on site and they'll have to route the water off site. So that will be part of the subdivision process. No matter what, they will not be able to outflow onto your property. It will be, they would have their own outflow.
Yes.
This time when you rained, the water went all the way to that.
Correct, because there is.
There's not
in
developed.
place yet, but once it gets into place and working, and once the plat gets recorded, all those infrastructure will be working.
We had this problem before, even without this construction. We had the problem with
Questions?
the water, water road.
I think to your main concern, any development of this property will require, as you mentioned, some level of detention and analysis of the water, and it should be noted that it should not run into your property. So actually, whatever transpires on this property as far as development or construction should ideally benefit your property as well if you're having drainage issues.
Señora, lo que está pasando es, al momento es pura tierra. Corre el agua de la Ware Road oeste a la colonia de las Valderas, ¿ok? No hay registros para recibir ese agua y mandarlo por tubo, donde está el diche, por la 29, entre la 29 y la 23. Cuando hacen la colonia, claro, van a poner la calle y van a poner la infraestructura para tener registros para colectar el agua y moverlo abajo en el drenaje para que no cae en la colonia las banderas. ¿Me entiende? Porque ahorita no hay nada y corre el agua con la tierra.
La situación de nosotros que estamos en un pozo, porque el agua cuando llueve corre del Owens y corre del parque,
Sí.
todo eso se hunda, la calle se hunde.
Sí.
Okay. So en esa situación, el alley también se hunde porque es demasiado agua que corre de la
Sí,
arriba.
porque no hay modo de colectar el agua ahorita porque no hay registros para recibir ese agua. ¿Me entiende? Pero cuando se pone la calle, se van a poner los registros para recibir el agua, para que no corre hasta las banderas.
Al callejón.
Porque ahorita no hay calle en esa colonia donde quieren fincar, ¿verdad? No hay calle.
Pero había una construcción ahí cuando estaban metiendo camiones.
Sí,
adentro de ese.
pero no era colonia con calle.
Cerraron una donde se iba el agua, la cerraron completamente, la tubería esa que pasaba. La cerraron ahí porque también querían parte del poner calle ahí, pero eso ya está cerrada. Y ya.
Sí, pero no tenían la tubería abajo de la tierra para colectar la agua y para que corre al dicho donde está entre la 23 y la 29. Cuando ponemos la calle, van a poner la infraestructura para tener los registros para que puede caer el agua, baja abajo de la calle y luego corre con los tubos. No sé si usted se dio cuenta, a la entrada sur del parque cortaron parte de la calle para poner tubería. Esa tubería va a correr a la colonia donde ellos están o quieren pincar.
Well, I think we understand the issues of the water, and I don't think that's something that's
Right.
too concerning for us. Thank you for trying to explain.
I'm trying
it
to explain.
I know.
Yeah.
But what are the wishes of the commission?
I believe the use is permitted by the zoning. I think it's residential, within residential. I'd make a motion to approve the variance.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Next item.
So, I guess, no.
Motion to approve.
Oh, I thought we did it.
No, we didn't. We're about to.
Yeah, item C. Oh, was that it?
That was
it.
C.
Oh.
Now we're in D.
Make a motion to amend
Amend the
the,
zoning ordinance of the city of McAllen.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Consent agenda items A through, ooh, where are we?
M.
A through M. We need to pull into now. If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 3.
On item, you do the consent agenda, right? Item 2K, I had to abstain from
that's right.
3 of those tax refunds.
Okay, item 3A.
Mayor, item 3A is consideration of approval of contract to purchase and install LED lights to upgrade the lighting in the convention center parking lot.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B.
Mayor, item 3B is consideration of a service contract for monitoring and maintenance of citywide Wi-Fi network.
Okay. Do we need a presentation? Do we have questions?
I had a question. Who's currently doing it right now?
Telepro is the current incumbent right now. Which
The one that won the,
Yes, sir.
is this out of 100 points?
Out of 100
The
points.
scoring?
Yeah,
So they scored a perfect score?
Yeah.
That's never happened.
Well, they're the current incumbent. They have all the equipment. They have all the certifications. They have the bucket trucks. They have the resources. We haven't had minor issues with them that we've corrected. So they've met all the qualifications.
I think I'd asked the city manager recently for sort of an update, just because since we had implemented it and since
Yes.
it had all been gone live, we hadn't really had an update on its performance, its usage, its speed, its reliability.
We can get that for you on a workshop, Commissioner.
Did we?
I don't think we have, but we'd be happy to do that maybe in May. I know
Yeah.
we've got street lighting coming up. Well, we'll get there in a minute, but we've got street lighting coming up at the next workshop. That'll give Robert a chance to put the
I think it'd be
data
worth it. I
together
mean, it was
for
a very hefty investment, and we
Yeah.
don't want the illusion that it's out there working, right? I mean, we.
Yeah, well, part of our maintenance agreement is they monitor it as a system goes down, they go out there, they replace it, fix it, spare parts. If a pole's being removed from AEP while they're working on it, that section may be down, but we're at the mercy of AEP to get the pole back up. But it has been in production for 5 years, and it serves various areas of the city with free internet, so.
Okay.
Is a contract bid like I don't want to say like a turnkey, one size fit all for the whole year? Or
Yeah, it's been in place for 5 years. It's just coming off the 3rd year of an existing contract.
Yeah,
We
the
went out for a
extension.
bid for another 3 years. We're doing it in 1-year increments with the option to renew it for 2 additional years with 1-year increments. And the reason for that is we want to make sure it's on its 5th year. You know, as the system begins to degrade with the weather, exterior, we want to make sure, we don't want to do another 3 full years because we may have to replace it by the 7th year. So we're doing it in 1 year for the next 3 years, and that'll put it right at about 8.25 years of being live.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? The motion carries. Next item.
Mayor, next item is consideration and approval of amendment number 1 to the Burns and McDonald contract. Ms. Elvira.
Yes, sir. So, here we go. Oh my goodness, where are my notes? Here you go. Public Works is seeking authorization for an amendment to the current agreement with Burns and McDonald's Engineering Company for the implementation of the recycling center upgrade. This amendment is in the amount of up to $90,000. Burns and McDonald is a firm providing professional consulting support services throughout all implementation phases of the recycling upgrade, including contract negotiations, design phase renew and consultation, construction and installation of the phase process, the commissioning and acceptance of the phase for all the equipment from the supplier. Public Works staff recommends approval of the amendment not to exceed $90,000.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item D.
Thank you.
Mayor, item D is consideration and approval of change order number 1 for changes in scope to the Quinto Mazatlan World Burning Center project. Mayor, Commissioners, when this project went out for bid and was awarded, As you know, we rejected the bids the first time, came back, negotiated a contract under CMAR process through the work of the engineering department. Eduardo's been able to identify some potential cost savings in the project that will allow us to put back into the project some elements that we had postponed when we originally contracted. And so, Eduardo, if you want to give some more detail on that.
Mayor and Commission, this is an item that we've been looking to bring forward to you all. We were waiting for some buyout savings through the contract. We've been working with our consultants. We have enough buyout savings now to cover what we had originally designed, which is the magic tunnel and the restroom. These were all elements that we wanted in this project, but did not have in the budget at the current time. The proposed change in scope is for a restroom for $512,000. $945. The second item is for a shade structure, which we call the Magic Tunnel, $1,172,329 for that. This does not change the contract amount. We stay at $51,928,000.95 because we are using buyout savings from the original contract to pay for these items. We recommend award of these two items so that we can move forward.
The buyout savings sound amazing, but $500,000 for a restroom is not. What's the issue with that?
So to match the decor of what's out there, that's part of it. The second item is we're working with some outside. It's not only the restroom. There is a little bit of outside work beyond the scope of those. And then these are fairly big, well, not big restrooms, but they do have a dressing area. The faucets and things are a little more element. We try to push this down as much. I do agree with y'all that it is expensive. I just don't think that we're gonna get, if we finish this contract and I have to bring someone in afterwards and work through the Adventure Garden, they're gonna charge me this price because they're gonna be working within a place that's already active and moving.
Okay.
We pushed this for about 3 or 4 months with them, and this is where we got at with the negotiations.
But you're explaining something much more than a restroom.
Yeah, it sounds like it's
Yeah.
more than that.
Okay, that's what we are concerned.
And as a point of reference, because Mr. Hernandez is there in the back, and not to call him out, but I distinctly remember the restrooms on each side of the shell at the Oval Park was approximately $100,000. If somebody knows better to correct me, do so. But I remember that amount being $100,000. Why can't these restrooms be made for $100,000?
I can, we can always work to push them down.
That's just a lot of money. $500,000, man.
I don't disagree. We worked with our architect. We worked with our staff.
Those restrooms.
We waited. We thought we would get a price at 30, 60. We waited to 100.
It's a contractor who they set the price, right? And
Well, they take it out to bid for us, kind of like the GMP.
Yeah.
We look at the pricing from the contractors. They use certain subs. Some of that has the pricing where it's at. We can always go out to a different contractor at the end of this contract. I just think, what I'd advise is working within that area
Yeah,
while
the
we're
biggest
active.
concern, I guess it sounds like it's a lot of money, which it is a lot of money, but it's not just the restroom. There's other things that need to be done. And the reason I ask is because I need to make sure that the community understands we're not just paying $500,000 for a restroom and that's it. It's stuff that has to be done,
Adjacent to it, yes, sir. There is some elements outside of that. I don't disagree with Commissioner Zamora either, that these are expensive, but we had this at about $400,000 when we were looking at the budget for these restrooms.
Maybe I made a wrongful assumption. I assume that these are standalone restrooms and not attached to a building?
This is standalone all by
It's a
all
detached,
by
it's a
itself.
standalone,
Yes, sir.
so I am right.
It's in the middle of the Adventure Garden, and so there's some restrooms within the building, and then to provide so that they can close the building down, and you could run the Adventure Garden by itself. These restrooms are out there standalone by themselves.
I'm not buying it.
No, I think we should
Think we
see
look-
it and.
I don't want
lead
to
into
piecemeal
work.
this or slow down the project, but that is just an exorbitant amount of money
Understood.
for a men and women's bedroom that I picture is going to be similar in size and certainly utility, like the ones that we have, the convention center. Am I wrong to make that assumption?
It's probably a little bigger.
Okay.
There's probably a little more to it, but like I said, I mean, I
Because-
don't disagree
because
with
those
that.
are
The
lit,
restrooms,
they're
but
secure, and they're, I believe, air conditioned, if I'm not mistaken.
these-
Oh, they're
these-
not air conditioned.
These will not be air conditioned.
Look, all we got in our packet
Mhm.
was numbers, that's all we got, numbers. So,
No, I think what they want to see is what is it, because it does sound.
Okay.
mean,
I can bring
that's a-
something back.
That's a real nice house.
I mean, I don't know, maybe the tubing is, 4 blocks away,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's why it's expensive, I don't know.
So some of the things we did with the architect to try to keep costs down, and we thought we'd see savings, is using materials that are already being used for the site. We're heavy in the concrete in that area. These are concrete structures, but some of the elements and the area we're working drive that price.
If we can get a little more details, because I don't think the commission feels comfortable.
Okay.
You want to table
And-
this?
Yeah, do I have a motion to table?
So move.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
And while we're at it, I guess also give us some detail on the magic tunnel, like the
Yeah.
length, the height, the width.
Yeah,
you know.
and the tunnel also, yeah.
Not a problem. We'll have it for next commission. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Eduardo. Thank you.
Item E.
Mayor, item E is consideration and approval of change order number 1, Balboa Acre Stormwater Pump Station Improvements. Guess I'll take this one.
Anybody, or do we have questions?
You're not done quite yet.
Sorry
It
about
scared you
that.
away.
I already started working on the workshop presentation. for next meeting.
I got a little busy there.
sidetracked.
Sorry about that, guys. Yes, we have change order for the Balboa. This is just to reconcile days. On all our projects, we've had long lead times for electrical gear, HVAC, pumps and engines. This project has a pump and engine part of it. There is a lead time. We want to reconcile it because the end of the contract was in April. This change order is for 214 additional days, which would move us to November. We're waiting for that pump to come in August.
Oh, I see.
And so the request is to change order for 214 days with no contract change amount, and we're revising the contract time to 579 calendar days.
So this pump couldn't just come off the shelf and be transported, it had to be.
There's just long lead times for these items. They're not small, this is just not a small pump. These are big pumps for stormwater, big horsepower. They're not off the shelf type.
Very-
The boiler station.
Right. No, motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 4.
This is a request to abandon .134
We don't need it?
acres. No, sir.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 5.
This is consideration of variance to interior streets right-of-way of 32 feet for Tres Lagos Phase 1 at 5300 Tres Lagos Boulevard. This applicant has been meeting with the fire department, and they have considered the 32-foot of right-of-way, and they will be adding 10-foot of utility and sidewalk easement on either side of the street. And they will also be providing a plat note or a HOA note that there will be no parking on the street. So that would help them with that, since they only had the 32 feet of right-of-way. At the meeting of Planning and Zoning, March 18th, they approved, the board approved to approve it.
Okay. Questions? No. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B.
The next three items are parkland variances. So of course, in a section of that on the first submittal that we had the section of the code that gave city manager the approval as far as either taking money or land. It really doesn't state anything as asking for half of it at the time of, at the first half, or they want to split it up into two. So they want to pay half before recording and then the other half at time of building permit. So that's something that the ordinance does not state. So that's why we're bringing these three items to you. The applicant would like to pay half at the beginning and then the other half at the time of building permit.
That's kind of the way it was being done before, correct?
Correct, but it's still something that
But it
wasn't.
causes quite a bit of issues later on.
Yeah.
When it says building permit time,
Yes. So when they eventually, when they're submitting for a residential lot, or when they're submitting for each individual lot, that's when they'll pay the other half of the parkland fees.
but is that reduced by the total number of lots of the subdivision?
Correct,
In that
yes.
fraction?
Correct.
So if there's 99 lots and they get one building permit for lot 1, they're paying 1/99 to $14,350?
No. So each individual, instead of paying the 700, so each lot $700, so they'll pay the 350. Each
350 and 350.
They pay
individual lot.
$350 on all 99 lots, and
I
then
see.
as those 99 lots are taken down and with a permit, they pay another $350.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah.
We just won't see it all at once like we do at the beginning, where we see half of it, and then depending on when the neighborhood is developed, and then that's when we start seeing the rest of it.
I have very strong reservations about doing that.
Well, it's been
Well, that's
generally
already
our
been
common
done.
practice.
Okay.
Has not been our common practice.
Yes, it
They
has.
have.
Yes.
Has it not?
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Every single city around us
Does
does
it?
it that way. Every
Okay.
single city.
I'm not gonna follow that logic. Give me
Okay,
something
no,
else.
no.
Well, it
No.
has been the common practice.
I understand, but is it a good practice?
It is because it's very developer friendly.
I understand development friendly, but what are we doing in terms if we want to build more parks?
Correct.
If we want to expand this, we want to extend the hike and bike trail. I
Well,
mean,
we
the
still
money's not gonna go
collect
from
it.
trees.
We
I
still
mean, eventually it'll get in there, but our residents want to see something sooner than later, tangible, that I can ride my bike all the way to Annenberg because I now have a hike and bike trail, as opposed to waiting for another 5 years for a build-out on a subdivision.
Correct.
That's my concern. I'm done.
Well,
And those are the issues.
Well, I think this is an item that's really goes to the city manager's desk. If we want to change maybe how it's structured, we could discuss it in workshop or look at it during some of the development forums that Michelle puts together. But it has been common practice. It is very development friendly. It does reserve a lot of capital that generally gets reinvested into the community. I would make a motion to approve the 3.
but it's an ongoing situation that we need to make it as a policy, so when an investor is looking at a piece of property that is vacant, that is not giving us any ad valorem taxes other than the worth of the land, okay, he has to know what the final cost will be, and their financial. So you have to make it in which they know upfront what their cost is, or else we're gonna have non-development in our city, and if you want to be developed, you will eventually get all of the money.
And that's the problem I have, is the eventually will.
You worry about maintaining that kind of AR balance, right?
But if they don't develop, then there is no ad valorem taxes. There are no houses built. Could be or could be not. They
I will
have
say,
to
I
make
think
that decision.
part of the reason that concession has probably existed is because our parkland dedication fees are higher than almost all the surrounding cities.
And ours have not gone up in
We have a motion from
years.
Zebi. Do I hear a second?
Yes, but, okay, we can approve this one and the next one and the next one, but we need to have
A sit-down
We need to have a
Yeah,
whole
I think
policy.
it's worth it for the.
But in this case, yeah,
Yeah, the issue is this one is we're gonna receive the funds. It's just a matter of,
I understand
it's more
that.
an accounting problem if we do it this way, the way
I
it's being
understand that,
done.
but we need to
It's
get
the monitoring and management.
Yeah, so right now we're bringing in 3, but we do have 12 pending ones, so
See?
it's just.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
historically, though, we've always entered into these agreements, so these 12
Correct.
historically have just been
Yes,
done.
sir. It's
So
just,
why is there a need to go through?
Because there's no authority
Mayor.
to do it, even though it's being
Yeah,
done.
Mayor, and so what I would ask the commission is if the commission is inclined to grant the city manager the authority to approve these, that as part of the motion, you consider giving me that authority, and then we can have the city attorney work with ordinance review to formally amend the policy. But I would, so that we can address the 12 that are pending, if the motion could include authority for the city manager, that would certainly
I
help.
second that motion.
With that authority,
I would say yes, but if that authority is in line with kind of our historic practices
Yeah, that's what
before
he's
we make a
talking about.
change, then yes.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Motion carries.
so those are gonna be for those B, C, and D, or can we do after
Yes.
individual?
That was for all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have managers report.
Sonia, the quarterly investment report for the period ending September 30, 24.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. The quarterly investment report for the quarter ending September 30th, 2024 is in compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act and the city's investment policy. The ending book value for the quarter was $487,473,603. The weighted average yield to maturity was 4.67%. The quarterly investment report was reviewed by the Audit Investment Committee on March 24th, and they recommend approval. If there's any questions.
Questions, comments?
Yes, we had our audit investment committee and we approved it, and as you can see, we were over 4.5% in net earnings combined, and that's fantastic, and we're liquid and we're in good shape.
Motion to accept said report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Future agenda items.
Mayor, coming up, we'll have at the next meeting a presentation on streetlight update by district. We'll also have a presentation on a public art project that we'd like the commission to consider. I've added an update on the Wi-Fi network that will bring hopefully the meeting after that, Commissioner Haddad, but happy to address any other subject matter that is of interest to the commission.
Excellent, okay, and then executive session items.
Mayor, with regards to item 7A, I recommend that the commission entertain a motion to authorize the city manager and city attorney to proceed as described in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Mayor.
against? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 7B requires a roll call vote, and it requires specific language. I can read the vote if you'd like.
Yes, sir,
The
please.
motion, Mayor. The motion is to move that the City of McAllen authorizes and ratifies the use of the power of eminent domain to acquire the following parcels of land: Tract 1, Robinson, Lot 1, also known as 3209 South Business 83. For the record, that is a typo that is in the appraisal district, but the statutory requirements require that we keep it the same. Tract 2, Kings Highway, 2.05 acres out of 5.066 acre Lot 1, 2.15 acres, also known as 0 South 33rd Street, for a warehouse storage facility and/or public purposes.
Is there a motion to that effect?
We'll need a roll call vote, Mayor.
Yes. Do I have a motion to that effect? Is
Aye.
there a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next item.
Mayor, with regards to item 7C, no action is recommended. With regards to item 7D, I recommend that the City Commission entertain a motion to authorize the city manager and city attorney to proceed as described in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. That's it?
That's it, Mayor.
There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank y'all so much.
Regular City Commission meetings are held on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Meetings are rebroadcast on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the McAllen Cable Network.